I'm Mac.
I'm Ben,
I'm Noah, and we are
the host of
Cut that shit out.
Cut That Shit Out is the show where we talk about controversial topics, pet peeves, stuff that's in the news, and it's a show for mature audiences that want to know the truth and only the truth. It's harsh, we know it, yes, but you got to come in with an open mind. If not, we want you to cut that shit out. All right, everybody, welcome to episode 3 of Cut That Shit Out. We got 2 special guests up here in the house, Charles and Maserati Shellz, man. We got a lot to talk about because the last time we recorded, Ben and Mac, it's kind of funny. Not funny, but ironic because as soon as we recorded, the next day, there was a shooting and killing and murder of Ahmaud Arbery.
Yeah.
Right, in Florida, a teenager who was jogging.
Right.
And 2 white men with a gun gunned him down. That wasn't even the worst thing that happened since we last recorded.
Nope.
Which is crazy. Like 2020 has just been like one bad thing after another, just, pitfalling. And, obviously we're here to talk about George Floyd, his murder in Minneapolis. Police officer took a knee on his neck for 9 minutes. And the nation erupted, man. This was, I think, there's a lot of factors that go into it, and that's what I kind of wanted to start on first. Why do you think George Floyd's murder? Because we've had Trayvon Martin, we've had Michael Brown, Eric Garner. We've had so many people in the past few years. Why do you think that George Floyd got this kind of reaction from the nation that was so much more intense than it has been in the past?
First off, I'm going to start by saying, if you think about it, in our second podcast, I said this. When everybody was protesting, yelling at cops and everything, I said, watch, they're not going to send the National Guards. They're not going to do a damn thing about it. But if it was a black man, we'd be ran over, shot, beat up, whatever, right? What's happening now? We get the National Guard out, everything, but Trump is saying, oh, yeah, if I have to myself, I will send them personally. Fuck that. Only reason that one made the most power is because, people are fucking tired now. They're fucking over it. And that's it. How many times are you going to put your knee on our neck? And that's pretty much all they've been doing to us. Putting their knee on our neck, shooting us for no fucking reason. Hands up. Oh, pop out. Don't care. We don't give a fuck about what you're saying, what you're talking about. I need you to do what I'm telling you to do, or else I'm going to shoot you. And that's it. And that's why people are now starting the movement. Because if you think about back in 1992, with the whole Rodney King era, they beat him. 5 cops whooped the fuck out of the man. What'd they get? Not a damn thing. They got acquitted. So Los Angeles, Watts, they fucking went out and they did what they had to. We did peaceful protests. Nobody listens. Nobody listens. So now we have to let our voices be heard. Only way to do that is not through violence, but through marching in the streets and defending ourselves.
I think to what he says, what Max said, I was 10 when the 92 riots happened. Now, mind you, what led up to that, a lot of people don't know, is the truce in 9 Deuce, where the gang members was trying to bring peace to the community. Right. So it was a truce. It was a code of conduct where, innocent kids would not be killed and all this. And racism was already boiling over, especially from the police brutality. And a lot of people don't know this, from the civil rights movement and to just in general, we've been through this, especially through LA and Southern California. So what made the 92 riots bubble over, and I remember as a kid watching this, was when they went to trial and they said not guilty. And mind you, the Rodney King was the first time you seen it on video camera, oh shit, they really are beating the shit out of it.
Right.
So, and I'll say this, they got not guilty, they went crazy. And why they went crazy, because we were living in communities ran by other people who were treating us bad, but you're taking our money. So that's why they were looting, because they were like, we don't own this. We don't own this. We're going to tear this shit down till you listen. So then, with Reginald Denny, I don't know if you're familiar with Reginald Denny, when they snatched him out the truck and threw a brick over his head, we don't care. With the George Floyd situation was, Brees, like we said, about Ahmaud, Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, all these people, we was okay, if you realize, it was always a cover story, he was doing this, he was resisting, and, what was the dude name? Zimmerman was I think he was a civilian. He wasn't a police, or he had been a police.
He was a security guard.
Yeah. Security guard. So what happened this time was, on camera, the smirk on the cop's face. Then have you any of y'all seen the whole video? The whole video.
Hands in pocket, shivering.
The whole video, he was already in the vehicle once.
Right.
They was beating him up in the vehicle. Oh, get him back out. Then when they did it, remember the first day it wasn't a riot, looting the first day. They're waiting, okay, they're finna charge him. They're gonna give him no charges. Hold up. So Minnesota did the first step, which once I seen them do this, I knew the whole country was gonna do it. When they burnt down the jail, the police station, I mean.
Right.
When I seen that, I was like, oh, it just got real. And people, like he said, are just tired. You're tired, and the smirk that the guy had on his face was like, oh, we can do what we want. So that's why I felt like people started going crazy. And I think that to say this is like, I'm not with the violence, but I understand it.
Right.
Like,
Definitely.
I understand it. Like, I'm not going to tell you not to. I understand it. You feel me? But for me, it was like this. If I keep just, hey, we want change, you're not going to hear me because I'm so timid. You need violence. And at the end of the day, and this is just, if you know your American history, it would be no America without violence, because the American Revolution was basically tell Britain and all them, look, we're not going to follow that shit anymore. We're going to fuck everything off. We're going to Boston Tea Party. We're going to burn all your boats. So it was a necessary evil.
Right.
If you know what that is, that's a necessary evil to me.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Going back to what you were saying about burning down the 3rd precinct, when we hear, for the people who may not know what we're going to do, when we hear, oh, there may not be enough evidence to charge the cop, and then it's like, damn, bro, so he's just going to get away with murder, and we got it on film. So like you said, at that point, it's like, hey, we got to stand up for ourselves. So what we're doing is we're bringing attention to what it is, because all 4 of those officers worked at that precinct. They didn't go burn down just a random precinct.
Right.
All 4 of those officers worked at that precinct that they burned down. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting there and I was like, damn. I was like you said, I don't really promote the violence, but I was like, damn, to make a statement or standpoint that strong is gonna draw attention. Yeah. And it's gonna draw attention in a good way and a bad way. Now the only problem I have with people talking about it is now they're just trying to put all that protesters in with the looters and the rioters. I understand, like, yeah, there's people rioting, there's people looting, and there's people stealing. But like you said, we don't own those companies. Those companies are coming from people of white color in our neighborhood, knowing that we want that. And they're going to take advantage of the fact that we want that. And they're going to go ahead and put their stores in our communities. We're going to buy that. We're going to take their money. Or we're going to give them our money. And we're going to take their product. Exactly. So what happens is we're not making no profit for our community.
Right.
I understand that. But my disagreement with it is when we go into the neighborhoods and we destroy our black-owned, our black-owned businesses where it's black-owned, where we're making money and bringing money into our community. Right. If we're attacking just the companies that are like, okay, we don't care about y'all, we have nothing to do with y'all, we just want your money, then it's like, okay, that standpoint's even stronger. It's just like back when we had to segregate on the buses, when we didn't give the buses our money for, what was it, about 360 days?
It was almost broke.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And then they were like, we have to make a change. We have to make a change. And that's where I see we're heading right now with this. And that's where I support it.
I'm going to add one more thing, which is like a funny fact if you pay attention to it. How many Walmarts got looted? Not one. But because Walmart is known for hiring predominantly minorities, being in minority communities and treating you a little better, and Walmart donates to a lot of things we do, and on our hearts and how we see Walmart is, Walmart helps us. Right. We know we don't own Walmart, but what has Walmart done negatively towards us?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's why we always call it Club Wally World.
Wally World. You see what I'm saying? Because think about it. I can actually say in my whole life, I've never been discriminated against in Walmart. That's right. And I've worked at Walmart. Mm-hmm. They treat you like a regular person, like
you're supposed to.
Like you're supposed to. Like, and just to reiterate on what he said is, to counterbalance the Walmart is, Gucci stores, when they tried to like loot some of the Gucci's and the high-end fashion stores, they had bulletproof glass. I was like, oh shit, they don't want to rob them, but they knew like ahead of time, like, you can't keep doing this gonna get out of control. So, but it was just a fun fact that when I was watching, I was like, damn, Walmart, no one even going near Walmart.
Target though.
Target.
Why? Why? Exactly.
And because you know why? They just start putting targets in poverty-stricken areas.
Right.
Mm-hmm. There wasn't. There's no targets in South Central.
Nope.
There's Walmarts, but there's no Targets. And Target, look at Target commercials. They just started adding blacks. Yeah. They just started putting a little hip hop to it. But Target, you can't get a job at Target. It's hard for a black to get a job at Target or Hispanic. You know? But, so that's why no one cared. But here's the thing that Target did. Target was smart. They said, we're shutting down every last one. more so. I think it was like 80% of them in the areas that needed to be. But it's just like, they know what's coming. They're like, they're not going to keep accepting it. It's impossible. So that's why you got that.
So with what Charles is, so as I agree with what Charles is saying, this is a reminder that to loot, if you do loot, you know, it's not recommended. Just do your protesting. But if you do loot, do not loot at local owned businesses. All right. We need to support them at this time. So we will leave a link in the description where there will be a black owned business that we can buy from. Loot from the big businesses, the one that are funding and campaigning for Trump.
Definitely them. Get them.
Yeah.
I got one thing to say real quick. I was watching the memorial of George Floyd, and I watched bits and pieces of it because I was at work. And then the Reverend Al Sharpton said it best. He said, to all you looters people are complaining about, all you complainers, shut up. Okay? I'm tired of y'all because y'all been oppressing us for 401 years. So now we're breaking the law, something. You want to cry about it? Shut up. We don't want to hear that. All right? Let my people riot and let them do what they need to.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, what we said on Trey Hendrick's podcast, I think if you're going to loot anywhere, especially in Southern California, go after Disneyland, man. That Disneyland and the company Disney has like so much power over everything, what the media portrays. I mean, they own ESPN, ABC Family, and then obviously their own Disney Channel shows. And they own so much more, Star Wars. And they own like, I think it's like 30% of the market of the movies, TV shows, and everything. So, you know, if you want to hit them where your pockets, or where it hurts their pockets the most, you know, definitely attacking like a Disney theme park, although it might be like the most highly secured. But just to add,
you better believe.
Yeah. But just to add what, you know, to about the George Floyd and what made it different, I think it's the fact that, you know, looking from the NFL standpoint, Colin Kaepernick, he took a knee during the national anthem for a peaceful protest, and in almost like complete opposite fashion, this officer had his knee like in the same position Colin Kaepernick was on the sidelines during that national anthem. That everyone, all the white, you know, conservatives that thought it was just, or, you know, it doesn't have to be white, but just all the people who thought it was disrespectful to the flag, disrespectful to the troops, disrespectful to the nation. All those people got butthurt over Colin Kaepernick. He basically got boycotted from the league. That was like, you know, NFL owner's inside job. And, you know, for an officer to do almost the same exact position that he did on someone's neck to kill them, I think that was like, it was just, I don't know if irony is the right word, but it was just like almost like too big of a coincidence, right?
It was symbolic.
Yeah, it was symbolic. And you were just symbolic. Like, wow, like, you know, I understand why people were looted because they were so angry. Like, they got so mad over Colin Kaepernick kneeling on the sideline, but no one got as mad for this officer kneeling and killing someone in that same position, you know?
I feel like the officer might have did it like that on purpose, low key.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of those racist white people who felt some way about Colin Kaepernick, you don't think they know? They know what he was kneeling for, and the other players were kneeling for, and that could have been a symbolic, like, look, this is what I think about your kneeling. I'm going to kneel on you. And then it's always been said that the oppressor keeps his foot on our neck.
Right. Even when they locked arms, whatever they did for as far as peaceful protests, what happened? The media went about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
They're disrespecting America, disrespecting our flag. You need to get them out. Get them out. President Trump even himself said, if it was me, I would have gotten them out. Suck my dick, man. You don't know nothing about nothing, bro.
And I think it was crazy, too, because what is the vice president? Mike Pence, right?
I don't even pay attention to them guys. I think so, though.
Yeah. I know his last name is Pence, but when Colin Kaepernick was...
Yeah, Mike Pence.
When Colin Kaepernick was protesting, he went to a game in Indianapolis, and, you know, he knew Colin Kaepernick was there at that game. He knew he was going to protest. And as soon as he took a knee during the national anthem, he walked out of his little suite that he was in, and he tweeted like some ignorant shit, basically saying like, oh, like how disrespectful Colin Kaepernick is, blah, blah, blah. He's disrespecting the flag and the troops. But then when the looting and the rioting started in Minneapolis and then other parts of the country, he said, he tweeted out on that same account. He said, "Hey, we respect peaceful protest. We don't agree with people using violence to protest stuff." Bro, that's such a hypocritical thing to say, man. Like,
he's a politician. What do you expect from him?
yeah, I know.
He's gonna go with
Exactly,
the
but
way.
it's just-
People pleaser.
Yeah.
Small. This is a quick story. When I was in high school, right? I always had my personal views about the Pledge of Allegiance, right? So I remember one time in was it homeroom? You the Pledge of Allegiance in homeroom? They don't do it no more. I believe it was
Homeroom,
homeroom.
yeah, homeroom.
It was homeroom, and everyone said the Pledge of Allegiance, hand on heart. I'm not saying that. I'm like really bored, and the teacher seen the look on my face. And in front of the whole class, he blows up in my face. He's like, Mr. Leon at Lower High School. I'm pretty sure he remembers this. He's blowing up in my face. You don't disrespect the flag. My father. I'm looking at him. And I'm a kid. He's a grown man. I'm just looking at him like, he said, why don't you say the Pledge of Allegiance? I said, sir, you want me to pledge to a country that treats us like shit and all this? I just personally don't believe in that statement. I don't believe in that flag. And he calmed down. He's like, oh, I didn't know that's how you felt. He thought I was being goofy. Mm-hmm. He goes, I want to talk to you after class. And I sat down and then we had a talk. And I was like, you can't live through like the movie Roots, and you can't grow up with people treating you like shit that are high up and in the government and say, well, I'm going to pledge my allegiance to this country. And I always thought that. That has always been my beliefs. And I've changed a little bit because I understand that it's a system that's been in place to keep us like that. But I feel like people are tired of that situation. They're not going to go for it no more. I'm just letting you know now. They're not going to go for it. It's a domino effect. It's too late.
See, one of my things, the whole biggest things I had with Colin Kaepernick was everyone immediately said, oh, that's disrespect to our military. Oh, that's disrespect to our flag. When really, even Colin Kaepernick himself came out and said, hey, this has nothing to do with the flag or the military. This is about police brutality and injustice for his people, which is us, black people or people in minority. And so I'm over here thinking, why is the media trying to turn it into something that's not? Because they want to try and take it away from what's really going on. Colin Kaepernick was pointing out injustices that was really happening that some people, even myself, may have been blind to at the time, growing up thinking like, oh, everything's fine in a system that was built for us to be like this.
Right.
Yeah.
And I may not have seen
If
it.
you think about it too, like, all people had to do was do their research. Kneeling is like the most respectful thing you could do without disrespecting the flag. Because if you go back to the Civil War, all those war eras, the people who fought in the war that didn't believe in the flag, they kneeled when they did their Pledge of Allegiances. That's the most respectful thing you could do without causing any harm or telling anybody, hey, man, what I tell you, you listen. No, we just get on your knee and then just listen to what they're saying and be respectful. That's
Exactly.
all it is.
Yeah,
when you go to church, what do? You kneel. You know, anything that requires you to show respect, you kneel. Any religion that you go to, they kneel for everything that shows respect. So I don't know why people made a big deal out of just kneeling. But now, kneeling became something different because now, you think about it, you have 3 officers, 1 kneeling on his neck, 2 kneeling on his back, and then the other one just standing there saying, hey, don't record this, don't record this. Now, the whole topic just changed. It flipped real quick, you know? So that's what people need to open their eyes to. Like, kneeling for peace or kneeling for murder? Which one do you want, you know?
Exactly, and it's crazy that you have a lot of people coming out to defend, like, the officers that'll do something like this. Like, if you defend that officer that's kneeling on his neck and you are against Colin Kaepernick kneeling on a field where he's not saying anything, he's minding his own business, he's letting y'all sing the national anthem, he's not saying, hey, I don't like this song, I don't want to hear this song. Like you said, he's just on his knee, silently, respectfully, doing his thing, minding his business, and just trying to get his point across. In a country where we're supposed to have the freedom of speech, freedom to write, freedom to protest, and every time we do, next thing you know, we got pepper spray, rubber bullets, dogs, the whole 9 yards. We're getting threatened with the National Guards. Oh, the president, the chief of commander, our president over here, oh, our government's being too weak on them. It's like, bro, how you gonna come out here and say some shit about your own American people?
Don't forget that he also called us thugs.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that.
These thugs.
Yeah.
These thugs.
These thugs looting the stores, all right?
When they loot, we shoot.
Yeah, fuck, man.
Really? Like, really. Like he said, remember? And we know what what's it called? Loose racial slurs. That's a loose racial slur.
Exactly.
That's a loose racial slur. Like, look at all these thugs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, come on.
But there was white people rioting too.
Yeah, but
they won't show it on the TV.
Here's the thing,
but
bro. I'm gonna keep it real with you. We all keep it real in this room. It was more whites rioting and looting. There were minorities protesting.
Right.
And a lot of people don't separate that. We gotta understand the difference of okay. Like, you see white people like, okay, what are you even doing here? Like, because if you would have stood up before this, you know what I'm saying? But like he said, yeah, it's just you got to watch what you said, like Ben said. You just got to watch how they talk sometimes.
And all that, like, if you go back to Martin Luther King era, you know, like, we've been trying to peaceful protest. Martin Luther King did the march, you know, from Alabama to Georgia to wherever all those states, cities that he went to. You know, peaceful protest. What did we get? We get riot gear, tear gas, dogs, water hose, all that.
Hold up,
Then
Mac. What happened to Martin Luther?
No, he got shot. But that was in a hotel. That wasn't during the protest though.
True.
You know? And then we skip forward a couple hundred years. Not even a couple hundred years, a couple maybe like 70 years.
Yeah.
Then Rodney King happens. Like,
Actually, it's only 30 years.
30,
right?
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
30.
60s to 90s, yeah.
Yeah,
So
30.
think about it. We've been trying to peaceful protest for like the longest time, and nobody's been listening. All we get is riot gear, army, riot gear. When does it end?
Actually, I want to say something, and I like to have self-accountability. I feel like as minorities, we got comfortable. Because after Rodney King, the economy got good. You know, there were more athletes, there were more entertainers. So we started getting money. And some of this stuff was getting pushed under the rug before social media became the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Think about the golden era of the 2000s. There was really no...
Yeah.
It was happening, but we weren't seeing it, so we didn't care. Out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
More people were more, you know, pretty sure in this room, none of us probably was like super dog broke, where we were fitting for our next meal, so we got comfortable. Then out of nowhere, the Trayvon Martins, the Eric Garner, and I just want to say something right now. Just be totally honest. If you go do your research, all the murders by the police that happened on minorities, not once did Obama tell Attorney General Eric Holder, we need to fix this situation. We need to find out what's going on. Not once. Go look it up. Because people overlook that part.
Yeah.
They overlooked that. They just said we had a black president. So you got to look at some of the things they did to pacify us.
Right.
You know, and just look at it. Just take a lot. That's why it's the pot blown over. But we got to take self-accountability and say, you know what? We can't keep turning the cheek because we're getting the money. And there's a couple, like I was researching Anaheim. There was two guys killed in Anaheim, minorities. One was black. No, one was a black male. One was a Hispanic girl. Both families settled. One got 1.5 million. Other got 2.5 million. And they forgot about it. No, they didn't keep pressing. Money runs out.
But you got to think about it too. Once you get that kind of money, you got to sign a
Yeah,
clause.
yeah, you do. But
You know,
you can still talk about police brutality in general, not your personal case.
Right.
But you should take that money, become an advocate, and start a nonprofit and donate.
I hear that, but they probably did add that part of the clause. Don't talk like
Yeah, we don't know. But
yeah, because they do that. Like
Yeah.
they find ways to shut you up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Sometimes you can't shut up.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the point I'm trying to make. Is
Right.
we can't shut up even though we have money. Back to Kaepernick. He didn't have to do that. He just went to the Super Bowl, bro.
Yeah.
He was the most sought after quarterback.
Right.
Because of him, that's the new former quarterback. No one tell you he's a sports guy. The running scramble, he said, you know what? I don't care how much money I got. And he wasn't a super black power guy before that. They tried to smut him. He was dating white girls and blah, blah, blah.
His mom's white.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
So like, and just because I sleep with don't mean about my beliefs. I'm still taking down white girls. I don't care. But you get what I'm saying? We can't just get comfortable and forget about the cause. You
Right.
feel me?
Right.
Yeah.
And I will add this too. I think the reason, I had a history of Rome class, and I remember this professor, she said it in college, she told me, the Colosseum was built and the gladiator fights, that movie Gladiator with Russell Crowe, big famous movie, right? But she said, the gladiator fights were put there by the emperors and the people who ran Rome to kind of have as a distraction for all the lower, I forgot was it peons? I forgot what, like,
Peasants.
Peasants, yeah. Basically all the peasants and the lower class people that were living in Rome to kind of keep them entertained. Yeah. And, you know, they would do giveaways, and it was just, you know, exciting moment that kind of distracted them from what the people in power were really doing. But then she related it to, like, present day sports, whether it's the NFL, NBA, MLB, whatever your favorite sport is. And I was like, when she said that, you know, obviously me being a big sports fan, I was like, nah, like it's not like that anymore. Like, nah, that's no way. I was kind of offended by it. But I think the fact that with COVID-19 shutting every sport down, there was no, you know, baseball to put on. There was no basketball. NBA playoffs would be going on right now. You know how many people would just turn another cheek and just, you know, oh, the Lakers playing the next day, you know, and you might see them do a protest, but it's different, right? I think the fact that the entire sports economy, there was nothing on to watch and basically distract the lower class people, the people that have been oppressed by the society and this government and this system. I think that's what really also set it up to another notch of, you know, like people just being tired and people just, you know, wanting to take a stand, whether it's protesting, rioting, or looting, whatever they chose to do. It's just because they're tired and there's nothing else to distract them, whether it be the NBA, NFL, and MLB, or whatever other sports season that was going to go on.
Like you said, this is classic. We overlooked this. LeBron was talking about some politics. And what did the lady say?
Shut up and dribble.
Yep. Shut up and dribble. Like, whoa.
And then what did Drew Brees say? I don't agree with anybody who disrespects the flag, blah, blah, blah. And then what did she say? Go ahead, Maserati. I'm going to let you take that one. What'd she say?
I ain't going to even say, because I don't even want to. Here's my thing. Because that's a segue to the next segment anyway. Let's segue. I'll let Noah segue with it and ask him how he do, because I'm kind of bipartisan on his comment.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about that. I'm bipartisan on his comment because I didn't feel like there was anything wrong he said.
Yeah.
It was just the timing.
It was the time. That's just how he feels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a time and place for everything, and he chose the wrong time and wrong place to say it.
Wrong platform.
Ain't nobody saying that that we're disrespecting the flag.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody saying that. It's crazy that back in 2014, Colin Kaepernick is doing this, and then now there are still people like Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Even though I have forgiven him for saying what he said already, because I don't disagree what he said about the flag.
Yeah.
But ain't nobody talking about the flag.
Yeah.
I get it. It's different if I would have burned the flag. I'm like, yeah, but you Brees, I'm tripping. I burned it.
Exactly.
My bad, bro.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm in the league. But my thing is, bro, first and foremost, right? I have to. The reason I said I'm bipartisan is because these constitutional rights we supposedly have, which I've never really seen, but he has the right to say what he wants.
Right.
Of course.
Right. His job is to play football.
Right.
True.
The other people on the team, his job is to play football, whatever his thing is. And at this point in my life, when white people say racist stuff, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
The only thing that bothers me is when minorities say racist stuff. Like, bro, you're just like me. We're both in the same. What the fuck is your
you my
problem?
cousin.
Yeah.
Bro, what is your problem? When white people say it, it's like, you've been doing that for 400 years, man. Come on. Come with something new here, man.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I don't like when people accept apologies. To me, when you accept apology, you're accepting a lie. I'm sorry for saying that. No, you're not. You just sorry you got caught saying it. It's a difference, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and the lady didn't say nothing. She said, oh, yeah, you know, she agreed with them. Like, my thing is with this is how I felt about Colin Kaepernick. You feel me? Is they pay you to play football.
Right.
That if you choose to give that up, to great. With Colin Kaepernick, I didn't like how he was begging to get back in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that. I'm like, don't beg them to get back in the league. Keep doing you. With Drew Brees, bro, no, he fucked himself because no one's gonna touch him. They don't want him, but come on, bro. Like, I'm not mad at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My only problem with it is that the 75% I think it was of the NFL is black.
Yeah.
Right. And think about New Orleans, the city he lives in, the city that like loves him.
Yeah.
Right.
It's 80% black.
Yeah, it's a huge black community down there, right in the South, and they have everything in there from Bourbon Street and everything going on in New Orleans.
Culture.
Right, the culture. They're
alone,
immersed in
right.
it. And think about how many players on his team throughout his 15-year run with the Saints have been black. Like, you're telling me since Colin Kaepernick first took that knee, there has been no... I know he played with Malcolm Jenkins. I know he went to the Eagles for a couple of years, but he's back on the team now.
Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, just think about all these players that
Reggie
were in the locker room when this was happening with Colin Kaepernick. You're telling me that no one educated you to what was he was really, because he seemed uninformed. He generally like seemed uninformed in that podcast when he had the question thrown at him. And that's why he said it was disrespecting the flag. But I think that represents the bigger problem in the U.S. and as a society, is that there's still people thinking that's disrespectful to the flag 6 years later after Colin Kaepernick first took that knee, still thinking it's disrespectful to the troops or to the military, whatever it may be. I just think it was crazy that like that fact that Drew Brees is surrounded in such a black community around black players in the NFL, which is predominantly black, that he didn't know better. He wasn't educated on the topic. Granted, he's entitled to his own opinion, but the fact that he said, "Oh, I don't agree with people disrespecting the flag," it was never about that. Like that to me just shows like, you yourself didn't do any, take any time to do research, and no one on your team corrected you too. Like, what I mean? Someone has to, whether it's a receiver, a backup lineman, practice squad guy, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Yeah, you may lose your job in the NFL, but if you really believe that, you gotta, stand up for what you believe in and correct that man,
Come to think about it though, like, I'm tired. And I say I'm tired of all the excuses. And people saying, "Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I wasn't aware." Before you made that statement, protesting was already going on, right? So I'm not saying what he said was wrong. I'm really not. But time and place. Like, be considerate of the time that you're in, and then wait like till the end, the season starts, and then say that. Like, I'll take it. Shit, fuck it. Like, yeah, you want to stab me right when you say it? Whatever. But just give it time. Give it time, because, like, you have a society, especially where you live, where you play football 15 years, like, they're hurt. They're hurting. That's all. We're hurting. And all we just want is for you to say, "Yep, we understand what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing." That's it. We don't want nothing else from you. We don't even want you to go out there protesting, bro. Just mind your business. But the moment you went on that podcast and you said what you said at the time you said it, like, with the way his face was like, yeah, people who disrespect the flag, I have no, bro, shut up. Just shut up. They ask you that question, I'll answer that question at a later time. That's it. Point blank. That's it.
Uninformed is a really good word to describe him, because in that video where he spoke up and said that, "Oh, I can't disrespect the flag because my two grandfathers fought in World War II." But let me ask you guys this: Who fought along with his grandfathers?
Us.
Exactly.
Minutemans. That's what they called us.
They weren't all whites. So the fact that black men had to fight with white people and come back and still start up a civil rights movement and still being oppressed, what the hell is wrong with him?
So think about this, though. Remember when they tried drafting Muhammad Ali? Yeah. What did he say? He said, "I have no problem with Viet Cong. I am not going to go fight for y'all if y'all not going to give me the same rights when I come back. Because there's no point of me going to war for something I didn't do. I have no problem. People I have no problem with, but I have problems in my own backyard. Exactly. I can't walk around my backyard without anybody saying nothing to me. I can't have my children walk around without anybody saying something to them. How is that fair? Like, I'm not going to go fight for it." He decided to almost lose his career, really, and go to jail for 2 years. He'd rather go to jail than to fucking stand for something he didn't believe in,
I think with Drew Brees, and it's just keeping it real, he knew what he was saying. The reason why he knew what he's saying is from personal experience with this George Floyd thing. A coworker of mine came in my office and said, "Can I talk to you?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" "Why are people so mad? What's really going on? Tell me." That's someone who's trying to empathize.
Right.
They're trying to find out before they make a personal judgment.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know. Drew Brees tried to backpedal. He tried to do what a lot of racist people do is they try to uphold the flag. "Oh, you're disrespecting the American flag." Hold on. You saying people have the Confederate flag at your house, which is the South, which hates that flag.
Facts.
So which flag are we disrespecting now? Or you're just trying to use a reason to aim at me racially and be promoted. I've always told people, Donald Trump empowers ignorant, racist people.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? So you'll find any excuse. Like, at the end of the day, when's the last time you seen a black person burn a flag?
Not since.
Go back and look at clips of the 70s when they were all in the hippie movement. White people were burning flags. They were like anarchists. Fuck the government.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? The flag is just an excuse. I'm gonna keep real with black people. We don't even care about the flag,
We don't.
bro. I've never heard one of my black friends say, "Yeah, man, fuck that flag." We're like, yeah.
Unless you pull up on us like with a Confederate
Yeah,
flag,
unless you
then
with a
we'll let you
Confederate-
know
Man, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. To any white person listening to this, if you pull up with a Confederate flag, bro,
you getting whooped.
you gonna get your ass beat. I'm doing it. Whoever's with me gonna do it. You
On
don't play
God.
that. But yeah, like Drew Brees, he could have just shut the fuck up and went about his business or dodged the question.
Oh yeah, my thing with the Drew Brees question is my whole thing is I just don't. I'm not mad at it because back in 2016 he said the same thing. He said the same thing back in like 2016, and then he came back out here and said it now. Like you guys said, I think it was just more of a bad timing situation because he already expressed what he really feels and how he feels.
Most definitely.
You know, so I'm not mad at him for saying that. And then throughout the whole years, I was listening to another podcast, and they were saying, you know, actions speak louder than words, and he's never really shown true actions to where it's like, oh, he has a problem against people of color or minorities. So I was like, yo, okay, I don't believe he's racist in what he's saying or has any hatred in his heart. I just think, like y'all said, he's ignorant to what's going on around him. At least to say he's not focusing or he's not watching around what's going on around him, or if he is, he's only seeing what I hate to say it, what Fox is showing, which is all the people looting and rioting.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things I had with Fox that I watched where it really like made me mad is they were like, oh, we covered all the deaths of an unarmed African American or minority in 2019, and then they said there was only 10, and then they go off, put the picture of all 10 of them on one by one and go off and saying, oh, he had this record and he did this, he did that.
The agenda.
Yeah, and that made me so mad because I'm like, where y'all get your facts from? Now I'm thinking they get their facts from the Washington Post.
Yeah.
The Washington Post takes statements from the police stations who could say yes, I can want to give you this information, or no, I want to give you this information.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm like, you going off of that when we got evidence, we got proof, we got videos of cops killing unarmed black people. I was like, and you gonna sit there and say there's 10, and then you gonna go on live TV and then try and justify it? I'm like, this is the problem.
Yeah.
This is where it all starts because we tired of, oh, this cop killed a black person, but for some reason it's always our fault.
Yeah.
No matter what, we could be unarmed, we could be doing nothing. It's always our fault. Like George Floyd, he was an activist. He was not a bad person. He didn't really have a criminal record, nothing like
He's
that.
a
They're
regular
saying.
person.
Exactly. There's no reason that should have happened to him. There's no reason that man should have had his knee on his neck for that long. And one of the things I wanted to just step back to that I thought was crazy was I heard that there was a lot of connections outside of like law enforcement with those two.
Yeah, they worked together before.
Yeah,
prior.
worked together.
They had a relationship of disagreeing. Like, so he knew who he was stopping.
Oh yeah.
And he knew he can get away with it with the other police. Because why? They were only 4 days on the job, 4 weeks on the job?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, but the one that was just standing there too, I guess that was his David Derrick's or David, whatever the cops officer's wife, brother.
Yeah.
So those two had that connection.
Yeah, like
too.
you're gonna back me. You're gonna have my back
so
regardless.
Exactly. So you got family ties into it. I kind of I was like, this might be some personal beef between this, bro. Like this might be more than what it is.
Honestly, to touch on what you said, you kind of made something pop in my head. Are we at that point to where we see 3 cops beating on a brother and it's 3 of us? And I'm like, man, look, I don't know what you on, but I'm not finna let him kill him. They're going to have to, because I think that's where we're at with this now.
I just said I go to jail for this.
Yeah, because I can go to why they go, well, he was finna kill him. But they're not doing their job. I feel like, because I seen a lot of people were recording this.
Yeah.
Man, help that brother.
When does the recording stop?
Man, I'm telling you, any minority I see it happen, I'm coming.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not finna run from my house and get over. But like, you feel me? Like I'm not
Right.
finna just be one to one. I'm not gonna be a phone holder. Like, oh look, because that could save someone's life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I will add this too. I've been saying it recently. I just feel like Fox News, man, they're not a news outlet. They're more of like the entertainment side. They're almost like E! News. I just think they're feeding that type of people that want to tune into Fox News. They're just kind of feeding the lies and the bullshit. Because if you watch those shows or just try and watch what they're trying to promote, I feel like a lot of it's not even factual. And then when they have interviews on from people on the other side, they attack them, accuse them, don't even let them speak, always interrupt them. So it's just, I think it's just a lot of BS. Like, you know, from here on forward, you know, I'm gonna tell people like Fox News ain't a news station. You know, they're just you know, like an acting. It's a TV show. Right. It's a scripted. It's essentially like they have an agenda and it's not factual.
It's the same Fox that plays hip hop in the morning. When it'd be so cool and down with Julian, was it Barbie? What was her name or whatever? Yeah. I don't even watch the news no more, bro. Honestly, I go to social media and find what I want, and I don't even watch news because I know it's set up for whoever if they're Republican based or they're Democrat. I don't care. Yeah, I'll find it myself. Mm-hmm. You know,
because I will say that, I mean, like if it was any other person, that lady who said "shut up and dribble" to LeBron James, and then she went and said to Drew Brees after he made those comments, "Oh, he didn't have to apologize. He's entitled to his own opinion," right? Exactly. That's what she said. I mean, if someone at any other news station, whether it's like a local CBS in some small town or somewhere in LA, like they would have got fired right away for that. The fact that she didn't get fired for saying that stuff, and you know was she went against what she said against LeBron James to a different white athlete, it just shows you like that's their agenda. That's what they're trying to tailor to, and it's not news. It's not a news source, so she would have been out of there. You know what I'm saying? The whole point of news is to be unbiased and report what's happening, and they're not doing that. So I think that was bullshit. And the one thing too I'll add to Drew Brees, because I was upset in the beginning, and I feel like I have mixed feelings now to kind of bipartisan, because he did apologize. His first apology was kind of weak though. I remember talking about it with a friend. He didn't say I'm sorry for what I said. He said, I'm sorry that what I said offended other people. So that doesn't mean he changed his opinion on what he said, right? He's not saying, oh, you know, I'm going to educate myself about what the kneeling was about and, you know, police brutality, yada, yada, yada. No, he just said, I'm sorry that I offended certain people with my comments. But then he went out Trump went out and said, hey, Drew Brees, you didn't have to apologize. And I think that's what kind of set him off. And, you know, Drew Brees probably has a team of PR people that kind of said, hey, we don't want you on Trump's side either. And, you know, that'll be a really, really bad look. Mm-hmm. So that's when he went and said, hey, you know, I think he took the time to educate himself. And he's like, you know, and then he said, I apologize for, you know, being misinformed about the flag and about the protest. And it's not about that. And that's when he kind of corrected his previous statement. You know, was it a PR stunt? Sure, probably. But I'm glad that he at least didn't kind of, you know, if it took Donald Trump, I'm glad he was able to kind of go against the flow and go against what he thought and kind of educate himself and learn more information about it, you know?
Back to the whole shut up and dribble thing, right? Like, if you think about it, we're good enough to be athletes. We're good enough to be comedians. We're good enough to do this, to do that. Why can't we be good enough to live?
My thing with what you saying that also is what we talked about, too, is we got to stop forcing our kids to play sports only. You got to tell them, if we don't tell ourselves we're more than a dribble, they're not going to look at us more than dribble. And on the touch on what you said with the Drew Brees is, we all like sports here. We like movies. You seen Any Given Sunday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when Willie Beeman thought he was better than the team and they stopped playing for him? Yeah. You don't think Drew Brees thought about that? Oh, shit. My receivers are black. My running back, black. My linemen are black. So if these dudes won't work for me, I'm out of New Orleans. They're going to trade me. Then what happens on the trading block? Man, don't bring him here.
Same thing.
You bet not bring him here.
There was this Minnesota Twins, the baseball team, the Twins. He has a no trade clause to Boston because one time he went to Boston, a kid called him a nigga, and a white kid, and his parents are standing right there and didn't say shit to him. So ever since then he had a no trade clause. Like, he's like, if you can't raise your kids to not disrespect somebody else based on their race, I don't want to be there. Mm-hmm. I do not want to be in that state. I'll go play there, like against y'all, but I'm not gonna go play for y'all. And I respected the fuck out of that.
Oh, deeply, deeply. I deeply respect that, because to make that type of stand, no matter what money they offer or anything like that, it shows like, hey, if you don't treat your kids in that next generation, and I believe it's just going to be a trending cycle to where why would I put myself in a position to where I might have to defend myself, or I might get killed or something because these people don't respect me just because of the color of my skin.
Right. As soon as he lose a game, what happened? Oh yeah, it's that nigga's fault. You know?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I might say it too. Lost this game because of this jack. I just said that about a couple players.
But
you know what I know.
Yeah, we just talking shit.
Yeah, and then like I said, but like here's my thing, right? I've had racist friends. I'm talking about, I've had real white supremacist friends because you know we grew up maybe on the same street, went to the same school, and not once did they call me. They were, but I knew at home they probably said it. Yeah. But they had enough respect, like, And I used to tell him, like, how can you be racist? You don't say nothing racist to me, but you're different. No,
No.
Yeah.
No, boo boo.
you just believe in what your parents tell you that
Right.
we rob, we kill, we're lazy. But you're like, well, he does it. So I guarantee you, bro, 90% of racist people are misinformed. That's it.
Yeah.
And the other 10% are really racist from the South. So
Yeah.
you're not going to change it. Yeah, that's the 10% that's right.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm from South Florida, so I'm telling you.
Yeah, they're not changing.
Right.
That's what they believe. But yeah.
And I will say, going back to Drew Brees, and this is kind of like put a bow on it. I think he has an uphill climb still. I think a lot of his teammates are going to be really upset at him, and the fact that what he said kind of ignited the rest of the league, and that's something we could transition to, where like Saquon Barkley, Tyrann Mathieu, and Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, the player who just won the Super Bowl. So I thought it was great that all those players, Odell Beckham Jr., a lot of like famous players in the NFL that a lot of kids love, right? Whether you're white, black, doesn't matter your ethnicity, you love and know these players because they're huge. They're big to the NFL. They got together and they basically said, hey, they basically put the pressure on the NFL and Roger Goodell to make a stance, right? They basically said, I could have been George Floyd. I could have been Breonna Taylor. I could have been Trayvon Martin. And I listed all these players' names. And basically we're calling for a response to the NFL. I think, Drew Brees definitely has an uphill climb. Before season starts, off season is probably going to be, especially with no, training camp, it's probably going to be delayed. He's going to have to make a lot of phone calls to teammates. Hey, sorry about this. Tell me more about it. What should I be doing? That kind of stuff. Or else, I thought in the beginning when he first made that comment, I thought he was out of there, to be honest. I thought they're going to have to trade him before the season because no one was going to play with them. And it just been bad chemistry-wise. And you know what chemistry could do to a team.
Yeah, you need chemistry.
Right. I think his apology kind of, makes up for a little bit what he said, but he still definitely has an uphill climb. But how did you guys feel about the NFL players coming together and kind of putting that pressure on Roger Goodell and the rest of the higher-ups in the NFL?
To go first, I didn't care. You know why I didn't care? You should have did that when they blackballed Kaepernick. One of your own. And I applaud to him for doing it now. But when Kaepernick did it, Trayvon Martin was everybody. We already had people killed by police. I hate when I see things and it seems trendy. You feel me? It would seem trendy because there were dudes locking arms. There were dudes kneeling. But at the end of the day, they were scared to lose their job and that money and that status. Odell Beckham, cool, dope. Bro, you don't care. Maybe he cares now. I can't judge. But I seen him when that was going on. He was still partying, dancing with the stars, getting mad because they're not throwing him the ball, being a prima donna. You weren't fighting for justice reform. You wasn't donating to this cause. A lot of them donate as a tax break. Come on, we know. You're not going into inner city telling the kids you could be a lawyer, a doctor. Go be a policeman to better the situation. You're not doing that. You want to be trendy. You have nothing to do because if there was no coronavirus, half them dudes would be in training right now. Like, yeah, I'm in training. I don't really know because they know the season's coming up. They don't want their owner to trade them. I like to be organic and genuine. Just be genuine. Care. Understand that you're black and not a football player. You're black first. When you wake up in the morning, you're black.
Right.
The money ain't gonna change that. The fame, the women, the cars, all that cool shit you think is cool does not change that you're black when you wake up. You were black when you were born. You're gonna be black when you die. It's two things you're gonna have to do in life, and that's be black and pay taxes.
Facts.
There's no way out of that shit. So, kudos, little hand golf clap. But I need more. I need more from them dudes. You got a lot of money. I need more.
I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said. Do applaud what they did in a way because they're done holding. Some of them, I feel like they're done holding their silence. Like they've been holding it. They were like, I don't want to lose my contracts. I don't lose this. Now they're done. They don't give a fuck anymore. What bothered me about it was the fact that it took that for Roger Goodell to see what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Like you have social media, you have the news, you have everything. You have a whole thing at your fingertips, literally your cell phone. But yet you couldn't take a second to be like, all right, this is happening right now. Let me speak to the people because he said it himself. 70% of the NFL is made of black people. Why couldn't you speak on this earlier? You know what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons why Adam Silver, I applaud that dude, man. Like, the moment it started happening, he fucking gave no fucks. He said, hey, we don't condone this shit. We're not going to stand for it. And we need to do better as a community. Right there and there. Why didn't Roger Goodell do that? Why didn't baseball do that? A lot of their players are minorities. They come from Mexico,
Dominican
Cuba,
Republic,
Dominican Republic. all of them are minorities. You don't treat them the same way. I know for a fact you don't. But, you know, when it comes down to get you your championships, whatever it is that you need, they look good to you, you know? It's time for people to stop hiding behind excuses and just stop having people force your hand to speak. You need to just be an adult and fucking just speak, man. Like, we're not going to sit here and tell you you're wrong or you're right. Speak. Say how you feel. We'll accept that whichever way. You can say something bad. Hey, you know, I don't like this violence. Okay, but are you seeing it, though? You know what I'm saying? You're seeing it. That's all we care about, you know?
I think let's go back to what you're saying. I think Roger Goodell on his part in all of baseball too, and all the sports or the athletes that haven't came out and spoke on it yet, I think their biggest thing is they're like, hey, maybe I could separate myself from all of this. If I don't say anything, nothing's gonna happen to me. My status isn't gonna change. Like you said, they're scared to lose that status or that job if they come out and speak. After seeing what happened to Colin Kaepernick, I don't blame them. I mean, that shows us how expandable we are to them. So I get where they're coming from, but at the same time, it comes to a point to where we say the only person I fear is God. So like I don't fear losing my job. I don't fear not having that money. I don't fear people changing their opinion on me because I'm saying this and I'm speaking out about something that needs to be spoken out about. And then one of the things I always look back on when something happens to me and I'm in a situation where I'm like, damn, is these niggas gonna like hate me now, or are these niggas gonna like ride with me now? So it's like, I can't remember exactly what the verse is, but it says, look at the crows. They don't have a barn or a soda reaping, but yet they don't worry about what they're gonna eat next. And then it's like, how much more valuable are you than the birds?
Yeah.
So
that's Proverbs.
When I hear that, I'm like, yo, I get it. I get that. Now it's like, I'm not scared to go out there and speak my mind and say what I gotta say. Like, bro, nah, you fucking up.
Right.
I'm not fucking up, bro. Nah, you fucking up. Like you said, we've been doing this for 400 fucking years, dog. And it's the same shit over and over again. People don't like to say history don't repeat itself. History don't repeat. 400 years, my nigga. This shit's still going on.
Yeah.
Until this day, we still living this shit.
Yeah, because we got to stand up. How do you feel, Ben? I'm curious to see how Ben feels on this one.
I want to talk to you about something that you said because I saw something very interesting this morning, and the word is trendy. Will you still be fighting for us when this ain't trending no more?
Right.
Key.
Right.
See?
Yeah.
When it's not cool to be on this side.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just so genuine, and that's the first thing I saw on my IG this morning. So it hit right here, you know, like I might not be black, but I feel your pain. You know, like I feel your pain.
Yeah.
And I'm here to fight for you guys. And, you know, like you guys said, salute to the NFL players that are speaking out, finally doing some shit.
Yeah.
But where was this from the beginning?
Exactly. Right. It wasn't trending then.
Right.
Exactly. And thank God for COVID-19. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this, and this shit would have
it'd have been
went on for another 400 years or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a little dust off your shoulders, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
So after all this shit ends, I will still be fighting for you guys, but one person is not gonna be enough.
we all got to.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday or the last few days, but there was a Pro Bowl caliber player on the offensive line or defensive line. He came out and he said that he wanted to support Kaepernick, but he was scared of losing his job.
Mm-hmm.
Now, talking about domino effect, like you said, Mac, 80% of the NFL are comprised of black people.
Right.
If it takes a domino effect, one black person stops, then we should all join him.
Yeah.
They will confide to us
Right.
if we
Yeah.
stand together.
Right. And I just to add to what you're trying to say is I think that's what the NFL players needed. I think that's what OBJ and Patrick Mahomes, they all needed unity because look at Colin Kaepernick. I think at the end of the day, Yeah, like he was like the only, well, him and Eric Reed were the only two players on the 49ers that kind of took that knee and took that stance, right? But then you look at like the Jaguars. People forget the Jaguars' entire team linked arms and took a knee for a couple games. I don't think they did it too long, but no one from the Jaguars got blackballed because they were unified. So imagine if Deshaun Watson did that on the Texans, he was the only player, or Patrick Mahomes on the Chiefs, or OBJ on the Giants, whatever team he was on. You know what I'm saying? If it was just one player doing it, you can kind of be scared to see how they treated Kaepernick. You're like, damn, I might lose this thing. But the fact, if 75% of the players in the NFL are black and all of them said, we're not playing until Roger Goodell and the NFL fixes this, we know the NFL is going to suffer, right? Fans are going to watch. People aren't going to want to go to games. They have that kind of power, but they have to be unified. Because if it's only 20% of that 75, that's still 50% of the league black. There's still 40, you know, and it has to be a large enough percentage to where you really hurt the NFL owners in their pockets for them to even understand and take that time to kind of do their research and kind of empathize with you. Because I think as long as, you know, it's just a couple players, you're kind of like, we can do without Colin Kaepernick.
Right. What's one quarterback?
Exactly.
Right.
Even Eric Reed, a Pro Bowl caliber safety, was blackballed a little bit until the Panthers signed him late into a season. But he was a Pro Bowl caliber safety. Yeah. So I think, you know, it's good to see this unity now, and I'm glad that they're able to do it now. I wish they would have done it earlier, but I don't blame them for not doing it earlier. It's just because you need that unity. And I think if all of them were to right now, since they're unified after making that video, if all of them were to pull out, shit, the NFL is going to have a huge problem on their hands because, you know, they're all about their money, right? And if they're not going to be having their star quarterbacks, because don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good white players, and I'm sure there's a lot of good players in college that didn't make it to the NFL, and they'll have a decent product, but it won't be as special as a product that we see have now on Sundays when the NFL season comes around.
I got a good question. What do we expect the NFL to do? That's the question.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, I get it, but what do we expect them to do?
That speech.
like
all jokes aside, that's it.
That's it? Or do we expect them to get involved financially to support the groups that are trying to get the change, make a mandatory requirement of their players like they do? Because, you know, they got a mandatory requirement where they have to do community work. Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, so what do we want them to do? Because we got to do a lot of shit ourselves. Like he said. They're here to help us, but we got to do this shit ourselves.
Right. The NFL has always been a relatively conservative league. I think you said it. Adam Silver's been always progressive. I mean, since from the jump after he took over from David Stern, NBA's been progressive, and he's always backed his players. LeBron James, their protests.
Blacks, that's why.
Yeah, exactly.
90.
Right.
Think about it, though. How many white players in the NBA can we sit here and be like, oh, damn, they nice?
Like 3.
Luka, Joker, and who else? I think that's it.
Right now or overall?
Right now. But think about it.
I don't even know.
But they're not. Yeah, Porzingis, but they're not even from here.
Yeah.
That's my point. They're not even from here. Most of these kids that follow any player, who do they follow? Whose shoes are they buying? Whose jerseys are they wearing when they go to these games?
Yeah.
Ours.
Kobe's.
So you think the NBA is doing it out of genuine concern or economical protection?
Nope, genuine. I've always believed Adam Silver. Like, he's never came out and said anything disrespectful. He's always supported our movements, no matter what it was. And that's one of the reasons why I fuck with him. But the commissioner for the NFL, Roger Goodell, he was forced to make that video.
But you know the difference between those two?
What?
One's Jewish, one's white.
True.
So, you know, some Jewish people have a different bond with us.
Yep, they suffered oppression too.
So they know, but don't get it fooled. They still, for me, it's hard for me to believe people that got money and that's in a position of power. But like I said, he's new. He hasn't been there as long as David Stern, so I can wait. I can wait and see what he does. But he does. I want to call him like a super LeBron supporter. He's behind LeBron 100%.
100%.
LeBron tells him that ain't cool. Hey, look, LeBron's tripping, man. You can't do that no more, okay?
Just like David Stern was with MJ when MJ was in the league.
But
you know
what
what
MJ did for the league. He better be.
He
better be.
But he donated $100 million though to the black communities and for progress. You know, and
When? Ooh,
Michael Jordan.
Well, I might only get on how I feel about that, but that's it. You give us $100 million. That's it.
Hey, that's a start for me. That's a start.
So we didn't take your shoe and make you a billionaire. We didn't go sell drugs, go risk going to prison to get this dumbass shoe, or damn to get killed for this dumbass shoe. And you want to give us $100 million years later?
Right.
Made you the #1 retailer when it comes for shoes.
Right.
You should be giving us $100 million every 10 years.
10 years. Every other year.
Here go, bro. But yeah, I just feel like Ben said, where do we go after it's not trending? Where do we go?
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us still have to live that life, whether it's trending or not trending. We're driving right now. Let's say we leave right here, right now. Try to go home. We get pulled over. We still got to live that fucking life. That doesn't change.
Oh yeah, but back on what you were saying, man, it's like at one point do we have more of our black rappers, our black athletes,
Yes.
and all of them like stepping up and giving back to the community
Right.
and helping the community, not just for the clout, but to actually do it. When do we have our players and our athletes able to step up and do that for us as a community? That's what I want to know. When are we doing that as a community for our people?
I think we actually have a few already, like J. Cole,
Yeah.
Kendrick. Like, these are the ones that are in the protesting crowd.
Yeah.
Like going first-handed, fighting for these rights that we need to have. Basic human rights, basically.
And I will say, I feel like 2020 feels different. The fact that all 50 states are protesting. There's protests in every 50 states. And the fact that even places like Orange County, man, I, honestly, like when shit first popped up, I knew there was going to be protests in Santa Ana, Anaheim, Los Angeles, big cities.
Right.
Big cities with minority populations. But the fact that I've seen protests in Irvine, Lake Forest, Mission Viejo, Laguna Hills, Huntington Beach, like predominantly white areas, I think that's legit. Like that shows to me, I think this time is a little different. The fact that people in white communities, and the fact that I've been to a few protests and rallies that we had, yesterday on Saturday, shout out to Maserati and everyone who put that on. Man, I felt like this time is different. This year is different. I think it won't just be a trend. I'm sure there are people who fade off once the trend dies, but I just think there's too many people now, especially in those white suburban areas. Like I said, the Laguna Hills, the South County, Orange County people. The fact that there's so many people there pushing the button, it's going to be hard to ignore. And the fact that all 50, I mean, how often do you see 50 states uniting on something?
Right.
I think that's crazy. So the fact that we see so much unity in white suburban areas and in all 50 states, I think 2020 is different. I think we're going to actually see some real change.
I'm a strong believer when I say this, like 2020 is the year of vision. And I don't say it like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a vision, I'm gonna achieve it. No, like when I say vision, like this is the time of this is the year where everything is coming clear. You find out who your real friends are, your real associates are. And you find out what's happening in the world. This is the year that everybody's like, if you're not awake yet, then drink some coffee and wake the fuck up, because this is the year for it. Like COVID taught us a lot, like about like people dying and how we're taking care of our body, blah blah blah. Then George Floyd taught us, like taught everybody else. We knew it taught everybody else who wasn't even paying attention. They're watching now. They're understanding. Some, not all, some. So 2020 is the year of vision, because worldwide now everybody's protesting, not just in the U.S. Worldwide.
Shout out London and Paris, man. Shout out
To the Star Wars
But I'm gonna tell you
actor.
something. I'm gonna tell you something about New Zealand, Paris, and London. A lot of people don't know this. They have a very strong black population, and they've been oppressed. A lot of them are African immigrants. So what he said about 2020, I got a question for everybody in this room. How many of you guys believe Trump has always believed what he believes? He's always been how he is.
I believe it.
Because
His granddad was a KKK member. His dad was a pimp. So you put two and two.
Ain't no wrong.
No, ain't no wrong with being a pimp.
Hey, don't bring Pippin in.
No, but think about it though. It taught you, like, for him, his grandfather was KKK, so white supremacy, pimping, how he treats women.
Womanizer. That is person. So now I say this to hold us accountable. Do you remember, and you guys are probably a little young, if you don't remember, in the early 2000s, it was cool to be around Trump. I can show you pictures with Puff Daddy.
How many rappers rapped about him?
Ja Rule, Oprah. All these people were cool with Trump. So now that makes us question ourselves. If you knew this man was like this, you were cool with empowering him and made him who he was able to do.
Oh yeah.
So it's your fault too. The people who let him have the Apprentice show,
Right.
that was your fault too. So I say this as in 2020 is it's unraveling the narrative that we have, like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. And to touch on what you said, Mac, if you just found out today your friends are racist, not you, I'm just saying in general, if 2020 just made you realize your friend is, bro, you must not be picking your friends according to how you are.
Right.
Exactly.
Because if I know you're a certain way, that's like saying if I know my friend is a burglar, he breaks into people's houses. I'm like, I love you, bro, but I'm going to just stay away from what you do.
Right.
So, I'm pretty sure all of us from Orange County, we all from Orange County, or moved here, lived here long enough.
Yeah.
You know which one of your friends are racist. Like, yeah, we don't hang out.
Yeah.
We went to elementary together, but he started getting crazy during middle school. You feel me? Then it's just like if you be around like I have older parents, my grandmother and some older people in my family. We're from Texas. They just don't like white people. So I don't bring my white friends around. I'm like, bro, yeah, you just can't come over here today. They're gonna go off the wall. Not disrespectful, but I understand their pain because they've been through the civil rights movement and all that. And so 2020 started off fucked up. It's just been a fucked up year for 2020. But I think 2020, it's an old saying is we got to destroy before you can rebuild.
Right.
I think that's what it's doing. 2020 is destroying so we can rebuild. And you bet if y'all vote for this guy, come on, man, you don't care about life.
No, you don't.
And that's an important reminder that we all need to go out. You guys all need to go out and vote, please.
Educate yourself first.
Yeah, we need our first Hispanic president, our first Asian president to see. We need that vibe. It's been all white, and then they gave us Obama, and we jumped through the roof. Mm-hmm. He's half white, like. So we never got a nigga as president. I just want one nigga as a president. If I can give me a nigga as a president, I just want to see how that feels.
Hold on. To touch back on Trump real quick. I don't know if you guys ever seen that show When They See Us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So what did Trump do in that? You know, he went and paid the news to front page the black case. I'm like, bro, like why? Why would you do all that? Like, but they weren't even guilty or nothing. All they did was be there and be black.
Yeah.
It's crazy how too when you watch that they show you like all the detail. It's crazy how you got 14-year-olds. Like, let's go back to the first episode. And what the first episode was all about was you got cops, the black cop over there telling them that the 14-year-old's mom left because she didn't feel good. It's like, oh, I see all white, and he like, what does that mean? Feels like Christmas. Like, okay, right there, you know, red flag, bro. Is 14 and you feel like Christmas because they said his mom left. They go in there and they literally forced the confession out of him. He got hit in the helmet by a cop, but they saying the lady scratched him. Mm-hmm. I'm like, damn. And it's crazy the type of power that they have. People knowing that they're faking, that they're making them lie about the statements, all that, because this is some real shit.
Right, it's some real life shit.
Some people may see it, oh, it's just acting,
story.
it's just TV. And this is real. This is based on some real shit. Like, this is what our people go through all the damn time. It's always been like that. And now, like the title is, when they see us, now that they see us, 2020, perfect example, year of vision. Now they see us, and now they see what we going through.
I'm going to touch back on what you said, though, about holding ourselves accountable, Maserati.
Got to.
Think about it. Like, we, as a black community, minorities, whatever, we need to stop playing the bad guys on TV. Because that's what these kids see us as, right? How many heroes do we have on TV? How many...
Black Panther?
That's it.
Yeah.
We got more Black Panther, Blade,
Okay,
but,
you're right.
but we don't have that many... All the characters they put us in are usually like drug dealers, thugs, thieves. Only Will Smith played great characters.
Denzel Washington.
Denzel too, yeah. But how many can we say besides them?
If we're going, overall, we've had good and bad. Here's the thing with that, and not to get off topic, Noah, if I could real quick. Yes and no, but here's the thing. We got to make sure we're represented in the right light, because a lot of them characters that you talk about, there's really people like that.
Right.
I got homies that's really, I used to be like that. But I changed. I think what we have to do is start with a self-accountability, raise our kids to know the difference.
The difference, yeah.
And saying that you can go to college, but shit, we can watch Boys in the Hood or Minister Society, but you're going to college. We got to stop thinking that we're downplaying people like, oh, you went to college, you're stupid, you're trying to be white. Or when as niggas, you know how we do.
Right.
When someone speaks proper, oh, he whitewashed, he Uncle Tom.
Damn.
That's what we do to ourselves.
Yeah.
Right.
So we got to check us first and stop making intelligence and proper speaking a negative.
Yeah.
That's it. But I get what you're saying. What
You know what's crazy though? You said Uncle Tom. I just heard this the other day. I don't know if it's true or not, but they said like Uncle Tom was the one who fought for us.
I don't even know. I just know Uncle Tom.
But that's
Yeah.
a term that's been always related
Yeah,
to
that's-
anybody
yeah.
who seeks property.
Yeah.
But you think about it, Uncle Tom was the one who fought for the blacks.
I'm sure even if he did, but he was in the house, and everyone on
Yeah,
the field, everyone in the field kind of had a certain feeling about him,
That separated us for years, bro. You understand how that separates? Like, cause man, that's a separation of the black community. Like,
Right.
But it brings us back to, like he said, 400 years later, if you're not fighting on this side, but sometimes you need a house nigga and Uncle Tom in there to fight
Oh,
for.
yeah.
It's like, hey, what do you? Okay, we're gonna. So
especially like in government and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, definitely like that. Come on, y'all, man, get up in their political offices, man. Let me vote for one of y'all, man.
Yeah.
Vote for
Exactly. Like what Ben said, vote, but more importantly, do some research on the local level. Your city council, mayors, governors,
Shout out,
senators,
shout
House
out,
of Reps.
definitely.
Yeah, those are the people that are really going to impact you and where you
District
live in your communities.
attorneys, all of them. Yeah.
The sheriff and district attorney or wherever the county you live in, that's what we need because they're going to prosecute the cases. They're dictating what the officers do. So definitely that.
Right.
Yeah. All right, just to wrap things up, we're going to go ahead and hit our final segment. Cut that shit out. Essentially, what's your biggest pet peeve? Mac, we'll let you go ahead and get started with it.
All right. To everybody, and I mean everybody out there saying all lives matter, all right? All lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter, because at the end of the day, we're all human and we all have basic human rights. So for all you all lives matters, I need you to cut that shit out.
I just want to say, kind of like the same thing with Mac just said. All lives matter. We're not saying that all lives don't matter. That's not what we're saying. We're saying Black Lives Matter. We're not saying that the other lives don't matter. We're saying just Black Lives Matter. We all deserve the basic rights that we enjoy as human beings. So those of you guys that are protesting against the protesters, cut that shit out.
This goes to it's no particular race, there's no particular person. It's just a general statement. If you want to go buy our music, wear our clothes, use our haircuts, and like how we do our lingo, but you can't support the Black Lives Matter movement, man, cut that shit out. Cut that shit out. Straight up.
Man, for those of you out there, for everyone out there that's saying Black lives don't matter unless it's black on white crimes, for all y'all out there saying like we not ready to have that conversation, I just wanted to say y'all need to cut that shit out, my nigga. Like, that's bull.
I like that one.
And then for me, man, I still see on social media people flaming Colin Kaepernick, still calling him that he wasn't a good quarterback, that he isn't good. He's not in the league because he isn't good enough to still play, man. This man took a team to a Super Bowl after taking over for Alex Smith, a quality starting quarterback who's been in the league multiple years. This dude is no scrub. So for those of you who keep saying Colin Kaepernick's not good enough talent-wise to be in the league, I need you to cut that shit out.
Now, right before we end the show, in the link in the description below, we will leave several links in which you guys are able to help out. Remember that if you guys can't go to the protest, there are petitions that you guys can sign. You guys can donate, and most importantly, there's this one video that was made on YouTube that are full of ads. If you guys aren't able to do anything, then at least stream the video without the ad blockers so that it creates funds for the bailings